G'day, Justin Hogg from RoadSource here, talking not-for-profit and governance. And one of the things that I've come across recently that I suppose is only a relatively recent discovery for me is the opportunities that Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander people have in terms of setting up a not-for-profit organisation. So there's a body that actually is here to help Indigenous groups form corporations or organisations, and that is the Office of the Registrar of Indigenous Corporations, or ORIC. Now, ORIC, in my dealings with ORIC has been fantastic in terms of the level of advice and the level of assistance they provide in helping these organisations get set up and get operating and being able to provide benefits to the communities in which they are operating. This body has been around for a while now. It works similar to ASIC, and if you're set up with ORIC, you don't actually need to be set up with ASIC. So it's actually a separate body in a similar vein that administers the companies that are operating under its legal capacity. I suppose why I wanted to bring it to attention is, one, there are a number of benefits of operating under ORIC if you are an Indigenous corporation. Now, ORIC provides additional support in terms of training, and in regards to the training aspect, especially when you're looking to set up an organisation, there's a lot of templates. It has a rule book or a constitution template there. It has a lot of assistance in terms of you being able to work through the path yourself in terms of setting up an organisation through ORIC, so that you have that ability to run your own company. Again, the dealings I've had with ORIC, they're very helpful. The steps you need to go through in setting up that organisation, they have templates there, and they're more than happy to help talk you through what you need to achieve. It is it's just very pleasant to deal with. The other benefits ORIC has is there's no fees, so you don't actually have to pay to register your organisation. It's free, so that allows you to keep your costs down in terms of setting up these organisations. Once you're up and running, they also provide help with recruitment in terms of your board and more generally. So that way, if you are looking, especially for board, if you're looking for people with specific skills to help inject that knowledge and capability into your organisation, they're there to help you assist with it. So they're very community focused and very focused on helping the Indigenous communities within Australia set up those organisations in a way that allows them to deliver more value and provide that continuity of service to the communities that they work in. In terms of the requirements that you must meet to be able to work with ORIC, well, first you need to be an Indigenous organisation. So that means you need to have members of your organisation that are Indigenous. That's just what is required. You also need to have the name identifying it as an Indigenous organisation. Now, there's key terms that they have, and there's a number of different options, but effectively you'll be identifying yourself as an Indigenous organisation, which is what you are, so that's a good thing. And generally speaking, these organisations are set up in a not-for-profit manner. Now, there are different options, but generally the default process is you are setting up as a not-for-profit, and that's because generally speaking, again, these organisations are set up to benefit the community they're involved with, not necessarily to be set up to have shares issued in them. So that structure makes sense. It is often what people are looking for when they are looking to establish an organisation in the space, so that's what they do. What's the same as ORIC and ASIC? Well, one of the similarities is that as directors of an organisation, you share the same level of responsibility. So even though this is a separate body, set up under a separate act, the director responsibilities are still the same. As a director of this organisation, you still need to act in the best interests of the company. You can't use your position in the company for your own self-benefit, and you need to make, you need to make decisions with care and diligence. And this is all the same level of director responsibility as you would have with any other organisation running in Australia. And lastly, in setting up an ORIC, you can also be registered through ACNC as a charity as well. There's nothing that is stopping you doing this. One difference in terms of if you had done it through ASIC is that if you are registered through ACNC and ORIC, you are still required to keep your details up to date with ORIC. So slight little difference there, but ultimately with ORIC, not charging any fees for late fees, and that type of thing, it actually, I think, still works quite well. So that's a really quick one today, but I think something that especially if you're Indigenous, but if you're looking to set up an Indigenous organisation, there's another option out there for you, which I find isn't necessarily spoken a lot in terms of mainstream information. So a little bit of something that might be of use. If you enjoyed this video and you are looking at setting up a not-for-profit or getting a bit more information on governance, check out our YouTube channel. We've got lots of videos there in terms of governance and not-for-profit space. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe. And if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me either by chucking a comment down below or through LinkedIn. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks for your time today. It's Justin Hogg from RightSource.